XRP, 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 XRP. The bulls getting ready to run out the gates.
Technology.
Right.
And in the second lens, it's the next stage in evolution. We've gone from, paper and pencil, filing cabinet based. I do think that crypto itself, there's two ways to look at it. One is a tradable asset like options, futures, and equities. The other is as a fundamental underlying technology.
Right.
And in the second lens, it's the next stage in evolution. We've gone from, paper and pencil, filing cabinet based financial services to mainframe to on-premise and then more recently cloud. Now crypto is the next stage in that, where a lot of the business logic that we've required businesses to actually build is now shared infrastructure. So exchanges, lending pools, payment processors, all these things are replaced by software. So I think in the future, crypto technology will power trading and all sorts of financial services, including trading in stocks and other TradFi assets. So the two will fully merge. I do think that...
Look into the crystal ball in terms of pricing. Where do you think Bitcoin is going? And linked to that, where Ethereum is headed?
Yeah. So I think all the alts are going to enjoy a nice spike, but typically there's a lag. So Bitcoin goes up, it stalls, and then the alts come up, and then the market goes down, it reaches a new plateau. We sit there for a few years, and then we go up. Those cycles were retail driven, and they were every 4 years. But now that we have all this institutional involvement, we have things like the Clarity Act coming, you're going to have probably another 500 million to 1 billion users entering the space as the Magnificent Seven come in and they integrate crypto into their platforms. We're already starting to see the banks come in because of the Genius Act, and these create disruptions that are unpredictable because that's a different kind of capital than these retail cycles that we have. So in terms of price, I still firmly believe that Bitcoin's probably going to peak somewhere around 250,000 sometime next year. And
sometime next year is middle of next year?
Yeah, probably about middle of next year. It just depends on the macroeconomics.
And Ethereum? It's
hard to say, but usually you see a proportionality with those types of things. So I could see another 30 to 50%, but I'm the worst trader in the world, so don't take any financial advice from me.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. HighVibeAssets back again with another dagger. You know, the show is sponsored by AlgoPearRich. Family, join the society. You can either click the link in the description or you can follow me on my x.com page. Family, make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Every single time that you come on, family, guaranteed the content is going to be bullish. Take a look at what I'm showing you right here on your screen, family, as we have everywhere that we look. All of these assets, family, they're at all-time high prices. You got Bitcoin at all-time highs. You got Ethereum at all-time highs. You got XRP at all-time highs. You have gold, silver, precious metals at all-time highs, all correlating at the same time. The S&P 500 is at all-time highs. And that's one thing that we have to understand in what's going on right now inside of digital assets, inside of investing, inside of this new economy system of what we're dealing with, going to move forward and based off of cryptocurrency and digital assets is driving the price of all of these assets, asset classes, use cases, is driving them to all-time highs right now. And this is why I tell everybody, family, you need to continue to add to those bags as this thing is continuing to get more strategic with financial institutions. The delegations are starting to trickle down from the highest entities down to the lowest entities, down into retail. We're seeing banks, financial institutions. We're seeing government agencies. We're also seeing fintech giants continue to build. We're seeing regulations from stablecoins. We got the Genius Act, and then we have the Clarity Act. Those things are being passed through in Congress. We're seeing the SEC and the CFTC finally, after all of these years, 5+, 7+ years, start to make their declarations and rules and regulations when it comes to digital assets, all setting the stage to where we're at right now. All-time highs for all of these digital assets. You see, when the tide rises, all the boats, they rise too as well. And speaking of boats, speaking of tides, going to Stablecoins, we have here, family, from Standard Chartered said that $1 trillion could leave banks for stablecoins. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to say a little bit more than that. Couple of trillion is going to leave banks for stablecoins. And the reason why I'm showing that with Standard Chartered, we know Standard Chartered has, a partnership agreement acquisition with Ripple, right? Utilizing, their trust charter to essentially to become a financial institution, the bank, to be able to custody digital assets and plus more as well, on ramp, off ramps, and utilizing the XRP ledger and utilizing stable coins, Ripple Lab USD, as, one of the most, regulated stable coin worldwide, over 60 plus licenses to be able to navigate. So we got $1 trillion, family, coming into stable coins. Stable coins is going to reach about 5 trillion in 2030. So about 4 and some change years plus going forward now, $1 trillion on the XRP ledger coming into stable coins. We're seeing these assets, family. We got gold, we got the S&P 500, we got silver, we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, all-time highs. That's the place to where we're at right now, family, in digital assets. That's where we're at right now. All-time highs. And that's bullish, 100%. And this is the, these opportunities that we get right now, family. They've never been inside of digital assets dealing with these institutions, another billion, another 2 billion active users coming on chain and finally being able to diversify their portfolios, their investment portfolios, their 401ks, their real estate portfolios. They're able to liquidate some of their investments and to participate in digital assets. You have accredited investor. You have the 1%. They're coming into this space right now. You see, man, family, you've been accumulating these assets for all of this time for this exact reason right here. You see, we have these cycles, family, and we have these retail cycles that we've been dealing with over the past 10 years. Every 4 years, you see bull runs, you see the market crashes, and then you see plateau. You see bull runs, you see the market crashes, and then you see plateaus. But we've never experienced a bull run like this inside of digital assets. Now, I want to change paces a little bit right here, and I want to go back and I want to talk about how, Swift, XRP, there was some announcements about consensus and Swift for their cross-border payments and utilizing and working with distributed ledger technology, and some confusion about, hey, is Swift is going to work with XRP and these things or not. And I just want to read this excerpt from Brad Garlinghouse to assure us that, look, see, the one thing that we need to pay attention to is, just like we're seeing today, right? We got $1 trillion coming in, leaving the banks to stable coins. We have all-time highs in all of these assets, family. We got precious metals. We have real estate. We have tokenized bonds, stable coins, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, all-time highs. A lot of these FX pairs and stuff is continuing to rise, the worth of these digital assets, and Ripple and XRP. When you talk about the main use right now for digital assets is that cross-border payments, making sure that that capital is being passed from on-ramp to off-ramp. Ripple and XRP has the most utility on the XRP ledger because they partnered with BlackRock, they partnered with Swift, they partnered with Bank of America, they partnered with Central Bank of Colombia, Central Bank of Palau, so on and so forth. With a lot of these NDAs, they still haven't even been disclosed yet. Take a look at what I'm showing you right here on your screen, family, and I want you to read with me today about this, that, look, family, this space is getting to the point to where that retail is about to be priced out from these assets. We had 10 plus years really to push the price of these assets right where they're supposed to be. And after that, the institutions are going to come in and the price is going to accelerate by the use cases and the utility that's on the underlying network. It says right here that Swift announced that it has built a prototype for blockchain-based shared ledger to be added to its infrastructure stack, initially focusing on real-time cross-border payments. Now, this is an excerpt from Brad Garlinghouse. Brad Garlinghouse is the active CEO of Ripple. He says that he's received a number of questions this week about it and what it means for the industry and Ripple. Frankly, it made me realize, and this is Brad Garlinghouse again, that I haven't shared enough recently on about the thoughts I have around who is viewing and how we view our core competitors and who our core competitors actually are, right? He says, and perhaps I will spend some time on the competitive landscape in an upcoming note. I digress. It is true that in the early stages that Ripple, we did view Swift as a major competitor. But the reality is, and in the time it has taken for them to announce a prototype, we've been building a robust digital asset infrastructure, expanding on our payments product to custody, or from our payments product to custody, stablecoins, and development on the XRP ledger, and more with recent acquisitions. So what Brad Garlinghouse is telling us is that, I think it was about a week ago, man, that this, news kind of, shook up, a lot of people in digital assets, or, the, buzzword Ripple and Swift working together, XRP and Swift operating on chain as a currency. And what Brad Garlinghouse is telling everybody is that, look, like, at one point of time, that may have been the case, right, when it comes to competitors or, however that you view it. But Brad Garlinghouse is pretty much just saying that, Ripple and XRP, that team, they've moved on already. Meaning that, cross-border payments, they've already done what they needed to do. They have the partnerships and recent acquisitions to make sure that they have their piece of the pie in that $250 trillion cross-border payment pie by 2030. And they already achieved that. You know what I mean? And what they're saying now is they say, we're kind of moving on to the robust digital asset infrastructure, expanding the payments product to custody and developing that custody and focusing more on stable coins and development on the XRP ledger, to add on to that liquidity to the XRP ledger, along with their recent acquisitions as well. Bullish, continuing to add to the product, continuing to add to the use cases on top of the XRP ledger. And this very important is because we're seeing what the market is saying now. The market is showing us is that it's very much alive. And the market is showing us that with the rules and regulations and with laws being passed, that we have another 2 billion active users that's going to come into this space with more funds, access to capital than the retail ever got to experience. So there's going to be so much unpredictability, family, inside of this space. There's going to be so much news, and there's going to be acquisitions and mergers, and there's going to be so much, and that's the reason why you subscribe to the HighVibeAssets channel. Brad Garlinghouse also said here that he says also we've dug into Swift news, and it really seems more like a marketing play in a lead up to their annual conference in Sibos, rather than an actual meaningful product announcement. And the most important thing, and we got this right here, family, from the digital asset investor, and one thing that I want to close on today's show is that, what we do here, and big salute, man. Shout out to everybody, you feel me, that subscribe to the HighVibeAssets. Shout out to everybody that subscribe to the AlgoPearRich community. And, for myself, for staying consistent and, continuing to cover this space. And, we have a long way to go, family, in digital assets. We have so much more to cover. But, what we have been doing here has been phenomenal. Everybody that has been showing up, everybody that has, smashed the like button, all of my subscribers, everybody that's continuing to subscribe, everybody that's continuing to follow. By the voices that we're having now, we have pushed this asset space where it is today. And without us, digital assets, not sure if it will be having the legs to stand on what it's standing on right now. And Top Rank says, and Bitwise Strategist says that one of the most organized and vocal and resilient communities, that's the XRP ledger, for sure. And that's what we are, very resilient, very organized. We have a lot of great individuals, male and female, who cover this space, diligently for Ripple and XRP. I truly believe, the way that, we came out for Ripple and XRP, especially during the Ripple and SEC case, that really swayed the minds of a lot of people because of the information that we were putting out. A lot of these cases and a lot of these digital assets or whatever, they don't have the community backing that the XRP ledger has. Absolutely. It's someone, from senior investment strategist at Bitwise Asset Management, praised the XRP community's unwavering support throughout the Linky Corp process. It says that the XRP community offered recently as the XRP Army is one of the most organized, vocal, and resilient in the crypto space. Absolutely. I tell people all the time on this channel, family, the way that we're going now, family, we got these XRP prices continue to add to those bags. We're at all-time highs for every single asset that there's out there right now. If you're not bullish, this is the most important time for you to consider to get bullish. And if you are bullish, family, it's time to get even more bullish. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section as well. Join the AlgoPearRich community, freeing minds financially. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Look around and tell everyone that the bulls are getting ready to run out the damn gates.
XRP, 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 XRP. The bulls getting ready to run out the gate.